Hi, I'm Alex Cario, the head of auditing operations here at Jones, the compliance solution for commercial real estate, construction, and the rest of the built world. Welcome to our insurance compliance video course. If you manage compliance for your company or collect and review COIs, this course is for you. In the previous chapter, we covered the basics of COIs. In this chapter, we're going to talk about endorsements, including what is an endorsement, and how to distinguish and identify them, and the difference between schedule and blanket endorsements. An endorsement is an amendment to an insurance policy. Insurance policies come with fixed terms and conditions that can only be altered later by adding an endorsement. Unlike a COI, an endorsement is legally binding. That means that it changes the conditions of the policy, whereas a COI is for information purposes only. There are four main types of endorsements that we can distinguish just by reading the title of endorsement. Those are additional insured endorsements, waiver of subrogation endorsements, primary non-contributory endorsements, and notice of cancellation endorsements. There's other types of endorsements too that are much less common. There's two main ways that we can identify endorsements just by looking at them. The first is to just read the endorsement. You can read the title, subtitles. Sometimes it's even necessary to read the body text of an endorsement to know what it's actually about. So, for example, if we were to read the body text of an endorsement and we see verbiage that says, waiver of transfer of rights from others to us. This long phrase, which may be a little bit difficult to understand, actually just means a waiver of subrogation. So if we see that phrase, we know that there is a waiver of subrogation in this endorsement. That's how we can distinguish between endorsements by reading their verbiage. If you're not an insurance expert, however, this may be time-consuming and tedious. For that reason, we may want to make use of a hack. By hack, I mean reading the alphanumeric codes in the corner of the COI. They can be in the upper corner, the lower corner, left-hand or right-hand corners, but these codes distinguish COIs and help identify them. There are thousands of codes, but there are some codes that are much more common than others. For example, CG 2010, I can know right off the bat that's an additional insured endorsement covering ongoing operations. I see this code all the time. You're not going to recognize every code, and for that reason, it may be necessary to create an index so that you only have to read the same code once, record it, and then the next time you see the same code, you can look at your index and see exactly what that code corresponds to, whether it's a waiver of subrogation, primary non-contributory, additional insured, or etc. Next, let's cover the difference between schedule endorsements and blanket endorsements. The difference is who is covered and how that is communicated in the endorsement. So in schedule endorsements, there's going to be a designated area where it tells you who is covered by the endorsement. This is called a schedule. Any person or organization that is written in the schedule is covered by the endorsement. Blanket endorsements cover any person or organization that meets a particular description on the endorsement. So if the endorsement says that any managers or lessors are accorded additional insured status, that means any property manager or lessor involved in the situation is automatically an additional insured. Likewise, a very common phrase to see on a COI is any person or organization as required per written contract. This signals that it is a blanket endorsement, and it means that the endorsement applies to any person or organization that it is required to be covered by the endorsement in a written contract. In today's episode, we talked about the basics of endorsements, including what is an endorsement, how to identify and distinguish between them, and the difference between blanket and schedule endorsements. In the next episode, we're going to delve deeper into endorsements and provisions, including waivers of subrogation, primary non-contributory, and notice of cancellation. See you there.